I said I would be back, so here I am. If you don't know what I'm talking about, let me recap your smooth brains. So a couple of days ago, I made a video that is an hour-long info dump about the Walten files in celebration for the new episode that came out on February 10th. When you eventually got to the end of the video, I did talk about how I was aware about this unlisted video that I did not add in the hour-long video that I made. However, I did go on to say that I would make a separate video. This video is that one. Before I start this video, I would like to say thank you for all the love and support that you guys have thrown at me in the last video. I didn't expect my video to get even above 20 likes or even 20 views. So near enough to 1k is absolutely amazing. I have a lot more content in the works that you guys might or might not like, but it's always worth a try making. So if you want me to cover anything that you like, leave it in the comments, I might consider it. Anyways, let's get into the initial reaction and then the analysis. Okay, so this might be when yeah. Okay, so that's where Felix dumped all of the stuff after Ed and Molly died. I think that's the backpack, but I'm not sure. What is the Cyberphone console? That is so hard to make out.
The Cyberfun Tech Console
Oh,
is
it like reads it for
filled
me.
with all the vital information of the Bond's burgers animatronics. The console contains the main patterns for the robot's movements and interactions with the customers. The console allows the animatronic to have advanced interactions with the audience, most notable one being the walk-around feature, which allows the character to roam around the place. For safety protocols, the console allows the robot to visualize its surroundings. This avoids the character falling, bumping onto objects or even customers. This feature is called map tracking, and it works as a basic radar for the animatronic. The map tracking feature records audio for safety reasons. Once the console is removed from the mech, technicians are allowed to see the recording from the animatronic's perspective. If any console recording contains any error or faulty programming, please contact Charles Brooke.
No. I hate the knocking sound so much. I hate it. Is that like why y'all compare me to Pyrocynical? Is that why? Brother, ew. Someone needs to fucking answer the door, fella, bro, like. Bro's got the longest face known to man, my guy.
The facial tracking feature is the most advanced technology in Cyberfun tech. This feature allows the robots to detect specific people in the audience, for example, the birthday boy. This allows for a much more magical and realistic experience from the family's perspective.
Is that someone's face like fading into the background?
Of a person and lights it onto the
Is that
console.
Charles?
The console then will detect said person's face
Is
through
that
defining
Charles?
facial features. This technology is still
It
a
looks
little
like
faulty
Charles,
in
I
its
don't
testing
know.
phases, as the console can only
I hate
detect a limited
this.
amount of combinations, which means a person could easily...
Hello. I'm calling to inform my colleague, or well, my friend, Susan, hasn't shown up in a few
Okay, that's
days.
Charles talking.
I contacted her family, and they say they also haven't heard from her. We're all really worried over here that something may have happened to her.
Oh, well, he went.
Apparently she was here on the 30th.
That's so
But
funny.
I'm not sure. I called in sick that day. Please, if anyone has any information, call me. Please.
Oh my god. Why is that the scariest face they've ever shown ever in the Walten files? Why was that like the most scariest one? I didn't like that one. I'm sorry. Where did they get these faces from? Sorry for like the constant flashing, my guy. What the fuck? This reminds me of Petscop when you have to try and put like the faces together to go into the different rooms. Oh my. That sounds like the when you close the door in Five Nights at Freddy's, like the when you shut the door on both sides. Do you know what I mean? Bond's ghost. Bond's ghost. Is that the one where the Walten the last Walten Files episode, or is that the Christmas episode? Because I'm not very sure, because it might be Boozer's Ghost. Boozer's Ghost is the name of the Christmas episode. So if you're talking about the white guy from the last episode, then yeah, I do have a bit of a theory about it. Look at them fucking toes, mate. Mega white guy, yeah. No, I have an idea, but I'll talk about it in a minute. I just actually physically gulped, by the way. What room is that? Who just PR walked into the room? The Hat Man, innit? Bruh.
We must go deep into the forest. Hurry, follow me.
What is that from? That sounds so familiar. Ew. The one thing I would like to point out about this video is the title. Lacrimosa is a Latin word for weeping or tearful. Mrs. Easybake editor here. Yes, I am my own editor. Just letting you know that Lacrimosa is also a song by Mozart that has been used more than once in the Walten Files. This directly ties with everything that is in the video, so let's get on with the deep dive. The first thing we're introduced is the lake that Felix Kranken threw Molly's Snoopy backpack into, and the fact that this same lake is located a few steps away from the children's bodies. We are given a date of when this operation was happening, May 4th, 1974 at 2:33 AM, 2 days after Ed and Molly died. From what we know already, Felix did come clean to Jack and Rosemary about where their kids were about to where. That might be why, in this tape, the police are actively searching for them 2 days later. We can't really make out what is happening or what is being said, but the one thing we can make out is somebody's shoe that has been left behind in the lake. It looks a little too big to be Ed or Molly's, so the possibility is that it could be Felix's shoe. The tape glitches and we are introduced to another work tape talking about the control system that is in the Walkabout animatronics. Yet again, we are greeted by Cybertelly, who goes on to talk about the CT console and what its purpose is for the newest upgraded animatronics. From what we are being told, this CT console acts as a brain for the animatronics to let them know where they are and who they are talking to. So this could be the birthday boy, a worker, or even a place around the Bond's Burgers restaurant. The one thing I found a little bit strange is that there is a change in voice actor for Cybertelly, with the last voice actor being more upbeat, but now this one being more monotone. This might be nothing, but it's worth to mention. Cybertelly goes on and talks about how the CT console helps the Walkabout animatronics to not bump into things around the restaurant. He also mentions a weird feature that this CT console has.
The map tracking feature records audio for safety reasons. Once the console is removed from the mech, technicians are allowed to see the recording from the animatronic's perspective.
This makes me think that this feature may actually capture something that we've not seen before, which might be Charles's death. Another point that Cybertelly makes is that the facial tracking system is a little bit faulty and it is still in its testing phase. He adds that a person could be mistaken for somebody else. This could mean so much for the future of the Walten Files storyline. This could also explain what happened to Brian Stells and why he was killed for seemingly no reason. The reason might be as simple as that Brian got mistook by the animatronic for somebody else because his death exceeds the time when the CT console was actually implemented in the new animatronics. And another thing I would like to mention is that he does kind of share physical attributes to Jack Walten. Hello, editor Mrs. Easybake again. I would like to also mention that the scenes where the facial scanning is happening with the yellow faces kind of shares a resemblance to the yellow face before the body of Brian shows up on screen. This could be a very big connection that these two things are one and the same. Anyways, back to the video. So the puzzle pieces are fitting extremely well. This could be a reach, but it's really coincidental. But let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on this. The CT console tape cuts out at the end of the sentence to show us Charles and how he's making a phone call to someone about Susan's whereabouts. This call could be to Norman. Norman is the big boss at Cyberfun Tech. Charles and Susan work for Cyberfun Tech and was sent to the Bunny Smiles facility to work on their animatronics for the restaurant for Bond's Burgers. Norman is also shown asking the whereabouts of Susan in the last video. He also talks about how this could ruin the reputation of the Bond's Burgers image. As the audio of the call plays out, we are shown Bond stuffing Susan into the Bunny animatronic costume. Another thing I would like to point out is that Charles says in the phone call that he was absent from work that day because he was sick. So if he was sick that day and was not in work, then that means that Susan ran the tests by herself and Bond saw the greatest opportunity to kill her. If Charles did not stay off work that day, Susan would still be alive. After Charles puts the phone down, we are shown a bright white room with some grassy texture as the bottom, with a wooden door and two wooden furniture items. As the last few flashes showing the room, a little sprite of Bunny shows up before the screen goes black. This is Wonderland. This shows Susan going to Wonderland, which is what we think is purgatory. Next we are shown the Bunny animatronic covered in blood walking around the empty back rooms of this facility. This scene is very familiar to the scene in the first episode where Bunny is walking around trying to look for a way out as she is starving to death. But instead of it being a top-down view, it is actually from either Bunny or Susan's perspective. Eventually, as she continues walking, she comes across a TV that is monitoring a corner of a room. What this room is or where it is located is very unknown. There isn't much information for what this TV's purpose holds, but we can always stay confused for another few more months, right? If we've done it once, we can definitely do it again. Someone walks in view of the TV, but disappears as it changes to static. There are no facial features on this figure, so we cannot tell who it is or who it isn't. Bunny or Susan spots someone peering around a doorway, so they decide to follow it. This leads them to another seemingly empty room. A voice can be heard saying,
You must go deep into the forest. Hurry, follow me.
Now this is an interesting quote to take from a very well-known movie, 1942's Bambi. Now I know that Bambi has been out for years, but I'm still gonna slap a spoiler warning, so if you want to skip through it, the timestamp is in the description down below to skip. Because sometimes people don't have the time to watch Bambi, or some people were just not born then. This line in the movie of Bambi was said right after Bambi's mother got shot by the man in the forest, aka a deer hunter. I am sure this links to the Walten files in some way, since it was literally put into the video on the last couple of seconds. Hi, this is the last time you're gonna see me, but also at the very end of the video, just very close, right after when that line was said, you can hear just faintly a bit of Alice in Wonderland music. I did call it from the last video, so this correlation makes sense now. Yippee! If you think you might know, please leave a comment, because I'm so stumped. And I also want to see what you guys offer up lore-wise. An unseen door opens and what looks like to be on the other side is Wonderland. But when Banny steps closer to the door, Bon is there waiting for her, and then the tape ends. My whole theory is that once Susan took the Banny mask, she regretted her decision to stay alive, so she wanted to find a way out and get back into Wonderland. However, Bon is stopping her from having a peaceful rest. I am not sure what Bon's intentions actually are, but they must be something to benefit him since he is hanging everyone by a thread. What that benefit is, I am not sure. Maybe we will find out the intentions in the second part of the Cyberfun Tech tape. Another thing I want to point out is Bon's costume before the tape ends. The suit is missing the iconic rip that is on the front of the chest of the Bon animatronic. And the way the animatronic head splits open to show Bon's face is very weird, since there's no seam to be seen on the animatronic's face that they could open up that way. Unless Bon's ghost kinda has big ears, but I highly doubt that. This video was very much like the last, answered a lot of questions, but left a lot unsolved. Thank you guys for making to the end of this video. I would really like to say thank you for all the support that you've given me on the Walten's Files videos, and I'm also happy that you are enjoying these kind of videos as much as I'm enjoying making them. So if you liked this video, leave a like, or you could leave a cheeky little comment. Don't forget to hit subscribe and hit the bell notification to be notified every single time I upload. And with that being said, bye bye!